Hello, folks. How you doing? It's pipe time here on the homestead. We're gonna sit around and talk about things for a spell. Coming to you from the bunker. Kind of cool outside. I think it's about 50 degrees. A little bit too cool to get out there. I'm doing something, and it starts with a pond type word. Pontificate. It sounds like a bad thing. We was in Nashville this weekend. Trying to get this pipe lit. Going up to watch that Christian comedian Tim Hawkins. When we spent time with my family up there, and I was told I'm pontificating. I don't know. It's weird. There we go. Puff it, puff it, puff it. Y'all good? I'm good. 96 Rock. Greatest rock station ever. And if you notice, a different shirt. I noticed the last two videos I had the same color shirt on. I'm thinking, you know, people are going to think I'm just some kind of redneck. I've got to wear a different shirt. So here we are. I hope everyone's had a good week. We left for Nashville Saturday morning. We left here, it was 60 degrees. I wore my shirt, short sleeve shirt. We got to Nashville, 37. Yeah, cooler, real cooler. Give everybody a little update on my range 4-cylinder delete. It worked real good. There was no engine variations that I was able to hear. See, a couple months ago, about a month and a half ago, we went to Birmingham, and I could hear when it's going from V4 to V8. Drove me crazy. You know, as a machinist, I'm very in tune with engine noise from motors. Case in point, we went to Utah last time. Oh, by the way, welcome back. If you're here from last week, go ahead and smash that like button for me. Just hit it. Boom. That's all you gotta do. Just boom, just like it. All you gotta do. Just a good old Baptist slap. There you go. We was taking off from Utah coming back home, and I distinctly heard those engines on that jet change pitch. Freaked me out. We made it though. So anyway, if you're, you need to look up Michelle. I know you got a new truck, Lee. Look up that AFM, automatic fuel management. It's not a good thing. Now, I did notice that my mileage, usually I average about 20 miles a gallon out on the open road. I was hitting like 18 and a half, but you know, if it helps my engine last longer, hey, so be it. If I was looking for gas mileage, I wouldn't have bought a Silverado. Okay, so, all right, we're back to Captain Black again. I have some of this stuff right here, Moon Trance. I did not like it, but it's exotic fruit, bourbon vanilla. I don't like it. So, but today's video is brought to you by the word, sponsored by the word cuss. Now, me being a fine, God-fearing Baptist, I try not to cuss, but sometimes I do. Like last week, you know, I told y'all last week I had to get that done on Sunday because I had to rake on Monday. Rake leaves. You see what's missing? This is what's missing, folks. I broke the handle out of my rake, and when it broke, it flipped up and hit me in the side of the head. It looked like I tried to pierce my ear. It was bleeding even. Well, this was in one piece, but when it broke, I got kind of angry, and there was a tree close by, so now it's in two pieces. Ergo, video word sponsored by cuss. What we shouldn't do. We should really try not to. Now, my granddaddy, my great-granddaddy Nelson, he was a world-class cusser. I've had men tell me in the last 2 years, you know, Bill Nelson, he could cuss like nobody I've ever seen. Yeah. But you say, well, what's a cuss word? Yeah. What is a cuss word? What's something not real nice? Preferably not nice. But I've been studying about it. You know, that's what my granddaddy always say. You pull up, he'd be standing out on the porch. The first thing he'd say when he got out of the car, he said, get out and see where you got to. And then if he'd been in deep thought about anything, and you question, well, what you been doing, Papa? Oh, I've been studying about doing something. I do a lot of studying about things and thought gathering. But I really, you know, this cuss. Cuss. Well, what is a cuss word? Well, I thought about it. I studied about it. And I come up with something. It's crap you shouldn't say. Crap you shouldn't say. That's good, ain't it? Y'all like it. I see y'all smiling now. So anyway, hey, 7 minutes in. Smack that like button. But we went to the what was that place called? It was on Belmont College. I don't know. It was a beautiful place. But that Tim Hawkins, he's a hoot. But, you know, I began to think about cuss words, and I really try not to cuss. But, you know, my grandfathers, they old world cussed. You might say, Jeff, what's that? What's old world cussing? Well, never heard any of my elders drop an F-bomb. And that's not flowers. It's not fruity. It's not fabulous. It's an F-bomb. You know what it is. I try. Now, if you're from my church and you watch me, hey, y'all know me. But never heard my grandfather drop the F-bomb. So, you know, old world cussing. And that would be, you know, I try to dignify cussing. Not dignify, but, you know, I study from the King James Version Bible. It was put together by King James of England in 1616, I think it was. And so there's a lot of the Queen's English in there. And when it talks about hell, it says hell. And that's where you go if you don't go to heaven. If you find that offensive, I'm sorry, but that's just the way I believe. And if you're not going to heaven, you're damned to hell. And, you know, something that was ridden from place to place was an ass, a donkey. So, in my feeble mind, I try to justify when I say things I shouldn't. Well, if it's in the Bible, I get a pass. So that's why I call it old world cussing. But it's still crap you shouldn't say. Which leads me to a story. It's story time, boys and girls. When my daddy was born, about 5 years later, there's another boy born, Uncle Jack. Oh, Uncle Jack. This past week, we lost Jeff Cook from the group Alabama. Well, my Uncle Jack was a musician. And he played on some of the studio cuts for Alabama and also produced the records. You can look on the roll-on 18-wheeler, the 80s of the Alabama albums. Uncle Jack's name's on them, produced by Jack Eubanks. Look it up. Let me know. Oh, Lifetime. So, Dad and Jack had to work in the fields. And when Jack's first job, he was a water boy. Mm-hmm. He was the Bobby Boucher of the Eubanks homestead here. Well, one day, Papa come in from the fields, and Granny was all put out. Jack, he was in trouble. And she said, "You're not going to guess what Jack said today." Now, remember, my granddaddy, he had a degree in cussing. So after dinner, Jack was brought up on the investigation. My granddaddy was a big man, 6'3". I can only imagine how it went. "Jack, what'd you say?" I'm not going to say it. Now, all this is through my daddy's story that he told me. Well, my granddad had a very short temper. He asked him a few times, "Jack, what'd you say?" I'm not going to say it. So according to my daddy, Papa grabbed Jack by the shoulders and shook him. And he said, "Damn it, Jack, what'd you say?" He said, "That's it. That's what I said, Daddy. That's what I said." So there you go. Old world cussing. But still, crap you shouldn't say. If I offended anybody, I apologize. But it was funny. So, things you shouldn't say. But at the same time, there's things you should say. You should always be ready to share a good word with someone. Encourage people. It's just like that scene in Animal House where Kevin Bacon's up there and he's saying, "Remain calm. All is well." Believe it or not, folks, all is well. We're going to be all right. Hey, I get discouraged. I get upset. I get fed up. I long for a day when things are just simple. When we was kids, things was simple. We didn't have to worry about nothing. Nothing. Everything was taken care of. So, we're on into 12 minutes now, so I'm going to wind this down. But just remember, how many times during the day is your hours sponsored by the word cuss? And if it is, that's just crap you shouldn't say. And, and when you do say something, don't think the world's over. If you do say something that, is just a horrible thing to someone, apologize to them. If you say something that it convicts you in your soul that you shouldn't have said that, well, apologize to that individual and then go ask forgiveness for it. God's in the forgiving business. He's in the forgiving business. He is. We're all just sinners. Now, grant you, some of us are worse than others, but we all fail. So, you find that little funny thing about my uncle being said that. I shared that with you jokingly, but it was funny, wasn't it? So, remember, puff on, my brothers and my sisters. If I got sisters out there smoking their pipes, make a comment. Captain Black is working pretty good. I like it. It don't bite my tongue. That's when you let it get too hot. And hey, I'm getting better. I'm keeping it puffing. My bowl is not getting so hot I can't hold on to it. So that's good. That's good. So just remember that this moon trance, you got to be a seasoned pipe smoker to like that stuff, in my opinion. I thought, it's got, vanilla in it. I love vanilla, but I don't like that pipe tobacco. So here is some tobacco seed pods for next year. So if you've ever seen any of our videos from Harston Honey, I'm actually coming to you from the honey room. So, just remember that, the Bible speaks of blessings coming from the mouths sharing blessings and cursing. So let's try to be nice to each other. And like I said, if you do accidentally slip up and say something you shouldn't say, just ask the person to forgive you. And then when upon your bended knee to Almighty God, ask forgiveness for what you've said, what you've done. I ask every time I pray, I ask God to forgive me for my sins and my shortcomings. Because I do. I sin. I come short every day. Because I'm just a fallible person, fallible man. Can't blame it on nothing but just being a man. Can't blame it on peer pressure. You're a man. You're a woman. We're living in a evil world. You know, Ecclesiastes says there ain't nothing new under the sun. People will say we're in such a terrible place in our lives and in the history of the world. I'll tell you something, nothing new. There's been evil people since time's been recorded. Ecclesiastes says there's nothing new under the sun. The only thing that's different is that when something bad happens, in mere moments, it can wrap the world. That bad news can wrap around the world. I may have said this before. My daddy said it was 3 or 4 days before they found out about Pearl Harbor being bombed. And that's 1942. My daddy was 10 years old when that happened. So, you know, just be cool, puff on, and try to let your goodness show. And remember that we are blessed, even though we're bad, even though we say things we ain't supposed to say, we do things we're not supposed to say, we're still blessed. And we live in the best country ever. And yes, we have our faults, we have problems, but still, it's the best thing going. So hey, if you hit the like button way back 16 minutes and, oh no, it's about 14 minutes ago. I think I was 2 minutes in when I asked you to hit like. Thank you. If you're still with me, thank you very much. If you're still with me and you haven't pressed that like button, please press it. I need likes. I need likes. Likes put me up in the algorithms. If you find this remotely interesting, remotely funny, press that like button. All right, Jeff Eubanks, supporting my 96 rock shirt, puffing on some Captain Black. Peace. That was the chair. That was not me. That was the chair, I swear.